Hello everybody, I'm Ajit K. Mishra. I'm here with a new module. This time I'll be talking about relationship skills. We all know how important relationship skills are because we need relationships to survive the challenges of the world around us. So we all, human beings are wired in a manner so as to live in close connection, in close association with each other. Therefore, relationships are important, and that's the reason why relationship skills are also very, very important. So relationship skills are the ability to establish and maintain healthy and rewarding relationships with diverse individuals and groups. That includes communicating clearly, listening actively, cooperating, resisting inappropriate social pressure, negotiating conflict constructively, and seeking and offering help when it is needed. Relationship skills are absolutely crucial, absolutely critical to success in life and work. If we develop the right kind of relationship skills, that will mean that we also develop the ability to establish and maintain healthy relationships, communicate effectively, and we resolve conflicts in a much better manner than we actually do. So these skills are in fact fundamental to both our personal lives and our professional lives. We cannot live without relationships. So what exactly are relationship skills? So relationship building skills are a combination of soft skills that we apply to connect with others and form positive relationships in the workplace. Relationship buildings are also essential for getting along with co-workers, contributing to a team, and building an understanding between ourselves and others. So take a look at this wheel that has all the most important skills that we all need in order to manage our lives well. So these skills are called life management skills. If we have to manage our lives well, we need to develop each of these skills soundly. So self-management, self-awareness, they're very closely associated skills. It all begins with self-awareness. That means I can recognize my emotions and values, and I can also take care of my challenges, my opportunities. I can evaluate my strengths as well. Once I'm able to do so, I need to manage myself, which is very popularly called self-management. That means if I know how to manage my emotions and my behaviors to achieve my goals, that means I can manage myself very, very well. So at the same time, if I'm also socially aware, that means I'm showing understanding and empathy for others. And then if I'm responsibly making my decisions, that means while making my choices, my decisions, I'm doing all those things ethically and in a very, very informed and constructive manner. That brings us to the most important thing in this wheel of skills that are absolutely essential when it comes to life management, that is relationship skills. So when it comes to relationship skills, I must know how to form bondings with people around me. I must know how to get along nicely with people around me. I must know how to retain my precious relationships with others so that I move along very, very well in both my personal and professional lives. So there are a few relationship drivers that we all need to be familiar with and we all need to develop. To start with, the first and the foremost relationship driver is communicating clearly. Clear communication has no substitute because communication is a thing that brings people together, that develops affinity, that develops closeness between them, that also builds trust. So with the right kind of communication, we can always build trust, which will lead to a sound bonding, a sound relationship with people around us. If we fail to communicate clearly, that means if we use words that our friends or people around us cannot follow, cannot understand, if we use words that are not acceptable to them, insensitive, insensible words, that means we are going to lose our relationships if we do not communicate clearly. And besides, if we also communicate ambiguously, that means we say something by meaning something else. So the proper idea will not be communicated to our listeners, and that way that bonding, that trust will never be established. So clear communication is one of the most important relationship drivers. Secondly, active listening. I've already talked about listening skills, and I have also talked about active listening in greater detail. So you all are familiar with active listening, the power of active listening, in fact. So you all know that active listening is very, very important. Engaged, active, reflective listening or relational listening. All these listening types are extremely important if we are seriously thinking about building good interpersonal relationships. So if we listen to somebody, the person will feel assured, secure, safe, and the person will feel like communicating with us. The person will also feel like sharing his or her ideas or thoughts with us, even feelings with us. So if we continue to listen actively, that will mean that people will come forward and establish bonding with us. That will lead to stronger relationships. The third most important relationship driver is seeking and offering help. No relationship is possible, no relationship can be sustained if we do not seek and offer help. We all know that we can be vulnerable, we can be stressed, we can be challenged at times. When that happens, we definitely look for some support system, and relationships are those support systems that hold us strongly in the face of such challenges or such crisis. So when that happens, we would be needing some support system around us, and that's exactly when we depend on our family members, our friends, our co-workers, our colleagues, and people with whom we have a good and meaningful and strong bonding. So seeking and offering help is a two-way process. There are times when we are vulnerable, we are stressed, and those are the times when we move out in search of some support system. If we do not get that support, then it will lead to the straining of relationships. Similarly, when people come to us with some kind of need for emotional or psychological support, we must give them that support. So seeking and offering help actually drive our relationships very well. So we need to take care of those things as well. The fourth important relationship driver is negotiating conflict constructively. It's not an easy task. We all know there are occasions when we get into conflicts, we get into some kind of problems with people around us. We generally have fights with our friends, our family members, our co-workers, and that's exactly when we need to be very, very careful, because if we develop the art of negotiating conflict constructively, then we can be very, very safe. We can also make people around us very safe. So they will feel secure and safe. There is bound to be conflict when people come together. It's not that, it's all about goodness and all kinds of fine things in relationships. Sometimes relationships are subjected to some challenges, and those are the times when the trust factor is on the wane. it's on the decline, and that's exactly when we need to know how to negotiate, how to resolve conflict. It's almost like, if the other person is angry, I cannot afford to be angry, otherwise that will lead to a strained relationship. If the other person is angry, I need to keep my cool. I need to understand why that person is angry, because we have been so friendly for so long. Why suddenly today that person is so angry? I need to understand that. So good conflict management skills are required if we are serious about building and sustaining our relationships. The fifth and an equally important relationship driver is empathizing and cooperating. So if we cannot empathize with people around us, if we fail to understand their emotional conditions, their feelings and their perspectives, no cooperation will ever be possible, because people, when they come together, they come with different types of personality traits and different types of emotional feelings and different types of behaviors. So we cannot imagine people to be of the same kind, and that's exactly where we can see a challenge, because if we do not understand each other, if we do not know how to cooperate with each other, we'll definitely end up in some kind of conflict, and that will be a big problem for all of us, and that will strain the relationships. So these are some of the most important relationship drivers that we need to be very, very careful about, so that we build our relationship skills nicely and we can enter into meaningful and sustainable relationships. On the other hand, we come across a major factor when it comes to relationship skills. The question is, why build relationship skills? Can't we survive without relationships? The answer is no, because we humans are wired in a manner so as to look for bondings, look for relationships. We cannot live alone. It's impossible. Since we cannot live alone, we always look for some kind of bonding, some kind of relationship building. So if that is a necessary thing, we must think of building stronger relationship skills. So if we develop good relationship skills, it will be easy for us to connect with people, get in touch with them, build and sustain good relationships with them. So what are those important things when it comes to building relationship skills? The first most important thing is connection. So connection is something that happens when we meet people, and then after meeting a certain type of people on one or two occasions, that connection happens automatically, because we actually meet people in a manner so as to see whether that connection can be established or not. So connection is very, very important. We live in a connected world. We all know that this technologically connected world is gradually losing psychological connection. So psychological connection is very, very important if we have to build our relationships. Trust, it has no substitute. The life of any relationship is determined by the trust element. So if there is trust stronger, the relationship will be as strong. If there is no trust, if it's very, very shaky, people lose trust many often in a relationship, the relationship will always go for a nosedive. That relationship will not last long because of a trust deficit. So trust is one of the most important things when it comes to relationships. So we need to build trust skills if we are thinking seriously about relationship skills. We need to build connection skills, trust skills, and the third most important thing that we need to build is cooperation skills. I must learn how to cooperate with others. I may be very, very good at certain things. I may be very intelligent, very capable, but that will not mean that I'll never ever cooperate with anybody. So cooperation skills are very, very important when it comes to, build trust, build connection. So if I cannot cooperate with anybody, if I cannot cooperate with my team members, if I cannot cooperate with my co-workers, it will mean that I am a self-centered person who doesn't want to get into any kind of relationship, and that is how no relationship will ever happen. And I'll be forced to live alone, and that is something no human being will ever want. The next most important skill that I need to develop if I am serious about relationships is teamwork. So teamwork, because we live in an era where this individual superhero type of thing is over. So no individual is perfect today. No individual is good at everything today. So it has never been the case. So teamwork is very, very important. I must be in a position to work as a team player or a team member. So if I know how to build a team, if I know how to work as part of a team, then I can always be very, very comfortable in the company of any kind of co-workers or in any working environment. So teamwork is very, very important. And there is another very important skill set which is absolutely essential when it comes to building relationships. Therefore, we need to build these skills if we are serious about building good relationships. The final one is well-being skills. Well-being skills are very, very important because they help us understand what we need. They help us, give a direction to our lives, give purpose to our lives. They help us, draw a line. We need to stop somewhere. We cannot go on like this. We cannot go on straining our mental faculties and our physical prowess endlessly. So we must take care of ourselves, because there are people, once they are into some kind of assignment, some kind of work, they tend to forget themselves. And that happens with all of us. We tend to forget ourselves because we get into something so seriously that we gradually begin to lose connection with ourselves. We forget ourselves. So we become oblivious about ourselves. And that's a big problem. That's the beginning of the well-being issues with us. So if I do not take care of myself, if I do not give myself, my body, my mind, the right kind of relaxation, rest, if I do not take care of my health, if I do not take care of my psychological well-being, that will mean that I cannot get into any kind of healthy relationship ever. So these are some of the most important skills that we need to develop if we are serious about building good relationships. So that is all for this session. I'm sure you have taken note of what I talked about, and you are going to explore these things yet further. And when I meet you next, I'll be talking about some other aspects of relationship skills. So till then, it's bye-bye.